Okay, now we're going to go to section 8.5 on writing linear equations. Now we did a little bit with graphing linear equations. We also want to be able to write them given certain bits of information. So what they're going to do is they're going to give us a variety of situations where information is given, and from that information we are to come up with the equation of the line. So given certain information, write the equation of the line. We're going to start off with the easiest one of the bunch, and that is when they give you the slope and they give you the y-intercept. And I have a couple of examples here. It says write an equation of the line with slope of -1 and the y-intercept of -7. Now remember, this is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So all we're going to do is plug in for m and we're going to plug in for b. Now notice that I wrote my y-intercept as just a number this time, as compared to the way I typically write it as an ordered pair 0, -7, but this is the way you'll see them on the assignment. So I want you to get kind of used to it. So I'm just going to substitute -1 in for m and -7 in for b. Now if I do that, I get y equals -1x plus -7. And that's a little awkward looking. -1 times x can be written a little bit more conveniently as the opposite of x, and plus -7, we know that's the same as just -7, and this is the way you would want to write your answer. Both forms are correct, but this is probably a little bit more conveniently written. The other one looks a little awkward. Now the next example, more of the same. They give you the slope and the y-intercept. Write an equation of the line with slope of 5 and a y-intercept this time of 0, which means the ordered pair is 0, 0. So if I plug those numbers again into this form, I would get y equals, now in for the m is 5, x plus 0. But again, we're not going to put plus 0. That looks a little awkward. We can simplify that, and we'll write that as y equals just 5x, and that's the way you should write your answer. So you can see how easy it is if they give you the slope and the y-intercept to plug in for the m and the b in the slope-intercept form. Almost as easy as when they give you a graph. Because in this case, from the graph, I can determine first this right here, that's my y-intercept. This is 0, -1. And I can also find my slope because I have 2 points here and here. I can go up 1 to the right 1. My slope is going to be 1 over 1, which of course is just 1. So m is 1 and b is -1. And again, I'm going to plug right into here. Now I'm going to get a little plus negative thing here, so I'm going to write it all in 1. I'm going to have y equals 1x plus -1, so that's the same as y equals 1 times x, of course, is x, plus -1 is -1, and that's how we're going to write our answer. Now, it gets a little bit more difficult with situation number 3. In this case, the information that they give you to write the equation of the line is that they give you 2 points. Now, that'd be great for graphing, but to write the equation of the line, we're going to need, from what we just did in the last couple 3 problems, we're going to need the slope and the y-intercept. And fortunately, that's the y-intercept. b is -4. You can tell it's the y-intercept because the x value is 0. That's how you know. Now that x value is not a 0, then it's not the y-intercept. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the slope using a formula from before, from the section on slope, which is the difference in the y values divided by the difference in the x values. So if I call this x1, y1, and I call this x2, y2, and substitute into these 4 spots right here, careful with your subtractions, I'm going to get -4 minus 6, this one minus this one, all over, 0 minus a -2. Well, be careful with those subtractions. Think of this perhaps as -4 plus -6, and on the bottom as 0 plus +2, changing those awkward subtractions into equivalent addition problems. Now over here I have -10 over a +2, -10 over a +2, which is -5. That's my slope. My y-intercept is 0, -4, so b is -4. I have y equals -5x. Now watch, all in one step, -4. Instead of writing plus -4, I write -4, and I get to that final form of my equation right away. And this is what I'm going to use for the answer right here. Okay. Okay, the fourth possibility is if you're given 1 point and you have some information about the slope. They don't give you the slope directly, they just give you information about it. So I've got a couple of examples of those. We're going to write an equation of the line that is parallel to this given line here, the line y equals -2x plus 5, and passes through the point 0, 3. Now a couple things here. First off, in the last section we talked about parallel lines having the same slope. And we know the slope of this line because this equation was conveniently given to us in slope-intercept form. So we already know that the slope is -2. And the point that they give us, notice here, this is the y-intercept. Again, you can tell because the x value is a 0. So that means b is equal to 3. So that would give us y equals -2x plus 3. About as easy as you could hope for. Now we're going to write an equation of the line that is perpendicular to the line y equals 1/4 x plus 12 and passes through the point 0, -4. Well, again, we talked about this in the last section. Perpendicular means the slopes are opposite reciprocals. And we are able to determine the slope of this line because it's in slope-intercept form. It's 1/4. It's the coefficient of the x. So we have to take the opposite reciprocal. If I take the reciprocal of 1/4, I get 4 over 1, which is 4. So the opposite reciprocal would be -4, the opposite reciprocal. And again, conveniently, the point that's given to us is the y-intercept. You can tell again because the x value is 0. So that tells me b is also -4. So that gives me y equals -4x because of this -4, minus 4 because of this -4 right here. And we have those two equations. Now, a quick little application of writing the equation. We have a table here that has some information. Since the table shows the amount of cash in dollars left from $25 after X loads of laundry have been done at a laundromat. Write an equation for the function. So if the number of loads would be X and the cash left is Y, you can see you don't do any loads of laundry. You have 25, you do 1, you have 23, you do 2, you have 21, you do 3 loads, you have $19 left. Notice how for each load of laundry, it's dropping down 2, which means that it's costing $2 per load of laundry. So I'm going to write this as my cash left equals, now I'm losing $2 every load of laundry, so the number of loads of laundry is X. I'm going to write -2x. Negative because it is coming off the amount, it is losing $2, you're spending $2 each time. And remember what happens when X is 0, you have your y-intercept, which in this case b is 25, so plus 25, and that's the equation that models this information. All right, make sure that you understand how to write the equation from whatever types of information they give you, whether it's the slope and the y-intercept, or whether it's a graph, or whether it's 2 points, or whether it's 1 point and information about the slope itself. And remember, practice, practice, practice.